Hey, how you doing? Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy Music Services. And yes, I'm not in the studio. I'm actually in a park with my granddaughter. She's doing soccer practice. And I thought I would try this. I've watched a lot of content creators doing more content other than teaching music, but giving you some lifestyle um, content. Yes, I do get out. I'm not constantly in the studio, but since I am waiting for her to finish her soccer practice and I have my iPad with me, I thought I would give this a try. Once again, Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy Music Services, retired 46-year church musician, self taught musician, and by self-taught, I am using the vernacular that I did have a piano in my household. Come from a family of church musicians who were also self-taught. They basically uh, had pianos or instruments in their households, and they basically passed it down to their children. Um, so when you see me play the piano, it is not from a venue of someone sat me down and said, "This is the key of C, and this is the key of F, and this is the scale and the way that you play the keyboard." No, I was the third in my family of eight, and after everyone was taken care of their physical needs, there was no time to sit down and show you how to play the piano because somebody had to work. But I always wanted to play on the piano, not necessarily for a church, but in my head when I would listen to cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, of course, were very big in my household because we weren't going out to play till it got a little bit later. So I would hear the theme music, I would hear the music in these cartoons, and I would run to the piano and not know where to find them, those notes. And of course, if you start pecking, hunting and pecking, you got told, get off that piano and close it down. But as I got older, and we're talking now maybe 8, 9 years old, not so much get away from the piano, but I would play a lot softer and try to hum what I heard. Now, of course, you can't hum in three-part harmony, but for some reason, I could hear all the notes as though they were together but separate. So I would hunt and peck. I would use my thumb. I use my pinky. Look at this right, the thumb or the pinky, to find the notes. And if I had two notes, then I would use these two fingers. Again, they were a lot smaller then, or both hands trying to find the notes. And by the time I was told, get off that piano, making all that noise. And that's what it was, noise. But I would build upon that until I got the opportunity to be a part of a public school band where they began to teach music. And I actually learned to play notes on what they call it now, coronet, but it was actually from my era called the flutophone. And the notes went from C, from middle C to the next C up, and if you were lucky, you could get that D. So we learned all the songs that was in the range. Hot cross buns, Mary had a little lamb, row, row, row your boat. So as I began to hear those notes, I could go to the piano with my miniature sheet music and be able to match the notes I could play on my flute. I blow into the flute, retain it in my ears, go to the piano and pick it out. So that's how, for me, my beginnings in being able to, they say, play by ear. Now we're finally having that conversation. You don't play by ear, you play by hear, Hear, where you can retain the pitch of what you've just heard, go to an instrument and try to duplicate the sound of that pitch. Everything musically resonates at a frequency, and it gets kind of technical now, but it resonates at a frequency either high or low, and in between is where you find the range of the instrument that you happen to be on. So I always want to be able to encourage musicians as I try this new concept, this lifestyle concept. Yes, I'm sitting in my car. You can see I'm near a park. If you can see part of that. This is my iPad that I take with me whenever I am not at home. I try to stay current on what's happening on the internet, especially YouTube and my channel, to make sure that I can get to any comments. But I'm taking this opportunity to, let's change this a little bit, to do some lifestyle videos. because I'm going to be soccer season is coming up, so I'm going to be in my vehicle for quite a few days for the next coming weeks as I'm again looking to branch out on what I've been doing, because I've watched a lot of videos of people who are sitting in their car having conversations. No, I'm not going to start eating, but who knows? I may even branch towards that era and maybe put some music around it, because again, my iPad is designed to be my actual mini studio or information device. I can actually hook a keyboard up to it and play organ. So I may look at also doing some of that. Uh, this is going to be growth for this channel, Lifestyles. But back to my conversation. For those musicians who are having difficulties finding themselves music-wise, I found myself listening more than I did playing. And the more that I listened and retained what I was listening to, once the attributes of becoming a and I use the term beginner musician. You always want to put that word musician in that. You can make music. It's just the level in which that you're starting. Again, with so much information now, I did not have back in my day. It's good for me that I took the path I did, because I can cut short for someone coming up the same way I did. Just want to be able to replicate what they're hearing. I can save all years of fumbling around in the dark, you might say, and give you and give them, or give anyone routine steps that I use that I could measure my growth as a musician. As I was able to retain melodies, went to the piano, found the notes in the range that I was learning in, which is why you'll see on my scale every video starts off with the major scale, and that's done purposely. That's how I was able to retain the notes, knowing that the notes I want to play are in this range, and then expanding on that. Melodies in the middle, bass notes are at the bottom, and then all your movement is at the top, and then combining them all together. That's how, for me, I was able to shorten the time to learn a song by hearing what was coming into my ears, disseminating, no bass notes, no high notes, what's happening here in the middle notes, which is basically in the range of middle C down perhaps one octave to the lower C below middle C, and then an octave above middle C. That's where all the music is happening. Everything else is the fluff that helps to hold all that up. So this is an opportunity for me to have this lifestyle sort of conversation. Yes, everybody wants to be able to play now. Why? Because there's somebody you want to impress with your playing. You want to be able to say that, hey, I was able to do this song, and now I can now do this song, and now I can do that song. For me, I just wanted to be able to play the Bugs Bunny cartoon songs. I wanted to be able to play the music of the theme music that I would hear on the television programs. If you caught my takeoff on the Flintstone, was it P shout video that I did? I would practice that. Now I can just I can hum it out in my head and hit the notes, because for years I would try to go to the piano and figure out, how do I do that? Let alone the chords, just the melody alone. So once you got the melody, the chords are right there. They're either above it or beneath it or part of it. That is what the Sound of Joy channel is designed to do, to save you the time and the struggle trying to figure out, well, what is a note, what is a key. I give you all of that and the chords that are associated. If you, of course, don't have a formal teacher, I often say the best way to learn is with a formal teacher, so they can stop you from making mistakes, which I didn't have. So I've lost a lot of years making mistakes until I began to invest in chord books and in scale books. And I'm like, oh, so that's why they call this a C major seventh, or a C7. That's the difference. one note at the end of the scale. Did not know that. And unfortunately, the church musicians that I would come up to as a youngster wouldn't share any of that information with me, if though they were given this the secret to the fountain of youth or the fountain of chords, and they wanted me to go find my own path. That's what I do on my channel. I give you the, not a secret, but information, conversation, and a path so that you can not be devastated by struggling with learning a basic song. Of course, the ones that are more complicated, the ones that have got all the orchestration and the actual so many producers involved with it, those are always going to be challenging. Even for me, they would be, until I stop, slow it down, take out all the fluff, and what's the basics of it. Well, this is my first attempt of doing a video in my car. The weather's cloudy out, but it's a very nice park that I happen to be in right now. Not a lot of noise, not a lot of people. But let me know if you like videos like this, where I talk about life, where I talk about how I began. Now, I'm not the greatest. I'd be the first one to tell you that. I did not intend to be great. I wanted to be competent. I wanted to be able to know whenever I sat down to the piano, be it at a church or at a what would they have? To have afternoon services, talent show, that I could sit there, sit down on the instrument, whichever it is, a Hammond organ, because I also had a Hammond organ to teach myself on, or piano or keyboard, and I could choose the style of music and the way that I want to be able to approach it. So I give you on my channel the basic theory, not this technical stuff. Although you guys like to know the number system. Is it a dominant seventh over a whatever, all those different major fifth over a dominant, trailing this, or a second dominant? I stay away from that. I want you to learn music, because when you learned music, then you determine what you want to sound like. Now, if you're going to go to a classical school, you're not going to come to me. You're going to go to a classical instructor, go to a classical school which teaches you all the basics, or for jazz. But if you want to be able to play what you're hearing, number one, and then be able to bridge that out to where maybe you want to change one note in the chord, two notes in the chord, and you don't know where they are. That's what I do. I show you where the basics are, first of all: major chord, minor, diminished, augmented, minor six. Those are the gospel chord sounds. The seventh chord is the jazz sound. The C7 chord is the jazz / gospel sound. That's what I give you. The pathway to hearing the chords that you're hearing all the time other musicians play, and that are in your generic songs that you're learning. Then you go further from that. So, Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy Music Services. As I say, this is my first attempt at doing a lifestyle conversation through my iPad. I've already tested it. It sounds good on my when I pull it up in my video editing software. So I may see if I can get into it and put some text in here, sort of change it up a little bit, maybe add some music from my beat maker software. So let me know what you think, if you liked this conversation. I know I've been rambling on for 13 minutes, so I may do some editing, cut that down, so just so I can get a feel for whether or not this is an avenue that I should investigate going down. Why? Because I see others doing it, and they're doing well with their content. Take care. Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy Music Services. Bye now.